The media has thoughts about who's to blame for moderate candidates losing in a time where a moderate Democratic president has had agenda being blocked by other moderate candidates. Obviously, it's the progressives, you dummy. But anyway, it's not just a vague thing. Very specific claims were made, and we're gonna run through a few of them, including some of what Jake Tapper had to say last night as the election results were coming in. Here's the first.
So one other thing that I'm hearing from moderate Democratic lawmakers this evening, who are obviously panicked, not the least of which reason is they're the ones who are most likely to feel the effects if this anti-democratic, capital D Democratic wind continues to blow next year. One of the things I'm hearing is that their voters, and don't shoot the messenger, I'm passing on what I'm hearing from somebody talking about what their voters feel. Their voters feel looked down upon. And I'm not talking about Republican voters looking down, feeling that they're being looked down upon. I'm talking about moderate to conservative Democrats feeling that they're looked down upon by pundits, by progressives, by other people who say that, who if they express a feeling that maybe the schools should open even if the teachers don't want them to. Maybe teachers should listen to parents more often when it comes to what they're hearing. This is from a Virginian. Maybe Joe Manchin has a point when he says $1.5 trillion or $1.7 trillion is a lot of money. Let's take our time with it. Let's not rush it. They think that makes sense to me, and they don't want to be insulted by progressives called whatever names for that.
Yeah. Jayar, I think you should start because I'm gonna get a little bit mad.
This is the question though, because I've brought this up before, and I'm not mad at Jake Tapper there for bringing up that point of view, because maybe he's one of those people, because those are his circle of friends. But who cares if it's whether or not it's him or not? Do we believe those people exist in large numbers? Those moderate Democrats who are saying, maybe Manchin does have a point. Hey, 1.75 is a lot of money. Or hey, maybe we should listen to what these guys, all the stuff he just listed. How much do you believe, John Iadarola, that those people exist in large enough numbers that they need to be considered? And man, I'm putting on the spot. I can answer it first.
That say the things he said.
Yes.
Well, first of all, he lumped a lot of things in there. There are probably some that were frustrated with the schools. I get that. The thing about Manchin and all that, that's stupid. That's really, really stupid. But go on.
Yeah, no, so I'm glad you said it that way. Because we got to separate from what's stupid versus whether or not they're there. Because they are there. I believe there's a significant number of Democratic voters who think just like what Jake Tapper was saying. I don't think he would have said that if not. And they still have an influence enough in the party. Yes, as we go into people who are gonna be blaming progressives for these losses, or the loss, the big one that anyone's thinking about, there comes a point where you have to figure out how do you get the people that are worth talking to convinced of the reality, because they're missing the reality. And I think they're sincere, but they're missing the reality. There's a difference between moderate Democrats that are missing the reality of the situation versus Republicans who know the reality situation, but they just don't care and they're looking to score some kind of a point about progressing racism in their schools because that's what they like. So those are two different groups. But the problem is the people who don't see the reality are assisting the people who are actively trying to destroy things like that, or actively trying to suppress information or knowledge or realization about our history, right? All that is lumped together, so you have to find the right people to talk to. Yeah. And I think there's a discussion worth having with those people.
I think that's fine. I would like to engage with some of that actually. So there, Jake Tapper said, "Don't shoot the messenger." I won't, but I will mock him because that was some stupid BS that I just heard from him. So what he said is, these moderate voters are being offended by progressives. The progressives are putting up bills for $1.7 trillion, and that offends them. Yes, I'm sure that America is full. Virginia is full of people who are like, wait, you want to cover my dental care? Get away from me. Why would you say that to me? My hearing, you want me to hear? These are offensive things. Stop it, please. Nobody is saying that. Nobody's saying that. And by the way, even if you thought that, how does that actually work as an analysis of the election we just had? Because you didn't have a progressive lose in Virginia. you had one of the moderates that you want. And I just tweeted out, let's get the challenge going for Jake Tapper to define what the hell a moderate actually is. They got their moderate and they haven't passed the bill. That's what he says he wants. Don't let the progressives take over. Don't pass these bills, slow it down. It hasn't happened. They haven't passed it and you got your moderate. So how is the solution to a moderate campaigning on nothing being done? How is the solution? Well, we need more moderates and we need less to be done. In fact, we need less to even be proposed because it seems a bit presumptuous of you to imply that the government should ever help anyone. But this is what he's going to say because Jake Tapper is Terry McAuliffe. They occupy slightly different roles in this whole system, but it is the same at the end of the day. The goal is the same. Terry McAuliffe gets elected to stop anything from happening as governor of Virginia. Jake Tapper hosts the news to stop anything from happening as a member of the media. Both of them are whatever moderate is supposed to mean, they both are that thing, and they are very much in lockstep. So what do you know? Shocking that after moderates lose, it's progressives' fault. That's what Jake Tapper has to say there. And I like the commitment to this message because what you wouldn't want to do in CNN's night-long blame the progressives game is, I don't know, have a progressive on. You wouldn't want to do that. That would just muddy the waters and really, it would take away the clarity of the message there. But we do have more. We have more coming from Jake Tapper. So let's play this.
This is a bad night for Democrats, and they control everything. It is, I don't know if it's a rejection of the Democratic Party or the party moving too much to the left or the party not delivering on progressivism. That's for the Democrats to work out, but it is a rejection.
Yeah,
I mean, how am I supposed to know? This is only my entire job is to opine on these things. Maybe it's that they moved too left. Maybe it's that they didn't do anything. I'll weigh both of those things equally. Maybe it's that people are terrified that the government's actually trying to help them. Maybe it's that Biden campaigned on things. We put them in office and they haven't done any of those things. Who's to say what would be frustrating voters? What an abdication of the minimal responsibility that he's been given to analyze things. And I want to add, no, feel free to jump in. I'll have one more point about Jake Tapper before we move on to Van Jones.
No, it's
but what
fine.
do you think about that?
Because it's easy to do it this way. It's easy to say the way we've always said it. If this is what I think a lot of times we have to break down. No matter what your job is, this is my belief system. No matter what people's job is, eventually, majority of people, they eventually fall into this routine and repetition of what they do. News anchors like Jake Tapper don't have to think critically about the next steps for these things. They've been in the mix so long that this is just the way things are. Jake says this type of things all the time. There's this bubble, and once you've lived in the bubble this long and it's worked for you like this, what else is there? This is reality. People's only reality is what they've lived. So he's thinking, oh my God, progressives are pieces of garbage. That's what we've always said. So it's obvious that they're still pieces of garbage now, and the people who vote for them, they don't really exist, right? There's a separation from who the people are that want the things, and it's been invented, versus the people who don't want those things. In reality, they are in such smaller numbers. But no, someone needs to dig a little deeper just to point these types of things out. But who's to do that? Are they going to go
people
further?
Are paid millions of dollars to do that, certainly.
Because they're comfortable in they're in their routine. They have to change up their approach and who they're speaking to. As you said, where was the progressive on the panel last night? Not that they excluded progressives. They don't think they really exist. They think they're just there to yell.
Check out the Damage Report podcast each day, wherever you get your podcasts, whether Pocket Casts or Stitcher or iTunes. You can join me as I give you the news and stories you want, with a range of co-hosts and interview guests jumping in on the fun each day. Again, that's the Damage Report, wherever you get your podcasts. And if you get them at iTunes, don't forget to rate and review. Sometimes I'll read them live on the show.